Claire. Great to see you at Money 2020. So before we begin, maybe you could introduce yourself, tell us a bit about your company and your role.
Great, love to. So I'm Clare Haskins and I'm the Senior Vice President for our commercial team working across Europe. We look after the entire life cycle of our customers from acquisition through to their in-life growth. Konsentus really has two brands as a group. The first is Open Banking Exchange, which is a consultancy and advisory forum helping to create market level infrastructure. We also run a community and membership program through that. And then Konsentus, which is our technology, a platform for B2B identity and verification in the open banking, typically for TPPs within that arena.
Fantastic. So in your opinion, what are the key drivers for your business in open banking? And what does the industry need to do to kind of meet its potential?
So I guess in some ways Konsentus is quite unique because we were built specifically for open banking. So our entire raison d'etre is to service that market. And as I said, we provide a robust identity and verification process for what is in open banking, the third-party providers or the TPPs, or those credit institutions acting as TPPs, and we'll expand that into open finance as those other non-regulated parties come to play. So the biggest challenge really is around consistency. There's been a lot of confusion and different messages, so it'd be great to see the regulators start to give a more consistent message on standards, just like they have really for KYC and AML.
Okay, so you've talked a bit about your strategy already, but maybe you can tell us a bit more about your expansion strategy and what your plans are going forward.
Yeah, so Konsentus really has three big elements. One is this market level infrastructure that we're running on an international footing. That's being led at the moment by our Open Banking Exchange brand, and the technology will then follow. And that's really where PSD2 doesn't have a legacy. The second then is that we're expanding our products and services portfolio to complement our core platform services, and that will be delivered across both Europe and then that international footprint. And finally, we're really growing out all of our expertise in open banking to extend that to the world of open finance when we get this huge influx of additional actors that will need to be identified properly, robustly and quickly at scale. And the challenge there, of course, is the complexity that brings. That's what we can take care of.
So what sort of complexities? Perhaps you could just elaborate a little bit on those sorts of complexities.
Really, the scale and the volume mean that you need to be able to do things really accurately and really quickly. And to do that, you need to be able to plug into official systems of record and draw that information back. It's not particularly sexy, but it is a specialist skill, and it's one that we have and one that we can deliver to our customers to help them manage that without having to build their own infrastructure or solution.
Absolutely. And if we were to talk about open finance more generally, what are your thoughts on what's happening globally in terms of where the UK is, maybe where some of the other countries are, just open finance more generally?
So open finance is one of those very strange terms because it means different things to different people.
Yeah.
Some people are calling it open banking, some people are calling it open finance. It probably really doesn't matter. I think the point is that there won't be one rule book for everybody across the world. So we're going to have to work out together how everybody's going to be able to trade cross-border and to work with that. But I think it's a really exciting opportunity, and the first opportunity for the financial institutions that we serve to really be able to do something that's beneficial to them rather than mandated. Hasn't really been a lot of carrots for the financial institutions today.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And maybe you can shine a light on some of the use cases for open banking that are most relevant to you. So just one or two just quick examples of what are the most relevant use cases.
Of course. So as Konsentus, we don't really have a use case because we are agnostic to them. We can support any AIS or PIS transaction, and we do that happily and robustly as I've described. But as a consumer, it's very much about a kind of a broader range of payment opportunities for me to be able to live, and also being able to expedite all of those really difficult processes in your life. We live very busy lives, and being able to get information and to kind of really make processes frictionless, that's where I see the opportunity being.
Okay. And just in terms of this time next year, by Money 2020 next year, So arguably the best use case at the moment is HMRC. So they've processed £5.2 billion worth of open banking payments. Where do you think is the best use case for this time next year, by Money 2020 next year? What would you say that would be?
So I'm going to mix in my prediction with my aspirations. So the HMRC case has been fantastic to see, and definitely one that really kind of merits attention. What I'd really like to see is that same bell curve and wave start to happen in Germany. They've traditionally had the Giro card as debit payment to be able to transfer money from their accounts, and open banking isn't that different. So my prediction or my aspiration is to see that kind of seismic wave happening in the German market and to really see them embracing open banking.
To what extent is it a challenge? I mean, I hear a lot of Germans, they prefer to use cash rather than cards, because they prefer things to be sort of kept anonymous in terms of where their money is spent. So to what extent is open banking a bit of a challenge in Germany from that perspective?
So I guess against cash, yes, there is less anonymity. But in terms of comparison to their Giro card, which is essentially a debit card, then it's effectively the same. It just removes that step of the process. My background is in card acquiring, and that was always a challenging market, because really it's only those larger value transactions that culturally the market has looked to process on cards. So I think there's room in the market for everything.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, look, it's very exciting times for Konsentus, and obviously immense potential for growth. So it's been an absolute pleasure to speak to you, and thank you for your time. Enjoy Money 2020.
Thank you very much.